Hello viewers. Welcome to this session where we'll talk about the different roles you can find in the corporate IT world. This will help you understand what each job does and how they all work together. Here's what we're going to cover. Different IT roles, the production support system, developers, testers, business analysts, DevOps, and SRE. Let's begin. In the IT industry, there are many different jobs. From writing code to testing, from talking to customers to managing systems, each role is important. Developers build software applications. They design features, fix bugs, and make sure the app works smoothly. They also work closely with other teams to get things done. Testers make sure the software works well. Manual testers test everything step by step, while automation testers use scripts and tools to speed things up. Both are important for catching problems early. Support analysts help users after a product is live. They fix user problems, talk to both users and developers, and help make the product easier to use. Support teams are divided into levels. L1 answers basic user questions and logs problems. L2 fixes more difficult problems and works with other teams. L3 experts who change code or systems to solve major issues. L1 support, also called as help desk, is often the first line of defense. They are responsible for directly answering the customer's questions over common and frequently occurring technical issues using a standard set of solutions. In case of complex problems, L1 escalates the issue to L2 support. L2 support members are responsible for resolving customer issues using technical expertise. L2 works closely with L3 and development teams to resolve problems that were escalated by L2 help desk. This often requires checking application logs and deep troubleshooting. L3 support handles the most complex problems which sometimes require code analysis and debugging. L3 handles issues which cannot be resolved by standard instructions or simple methods. This role often involves code fixes and system modifications. Developers write code, fix bugs, take part in design discussions, and keep documentation up to date. They also need to know programming languages like Python, Java, and tools like Git and VS Code. Developers work with testers, business analysts, and operations teams to make sure everything runs smoothly and meets the business needs. A typical day in a developer's life involves updating team members on progress, working on assigned features or bug fixes, collaborating with fellow developers and testers, and finally committing their work for the day to the version control system. A developer today must have command of at least 2 to 3 programming languages like Python, Go, and JavaScript. Developers could be front-end, back-end, or full-stack. Along with this, a developer should also have hands-on knowledge of version control systems like GitHub or GitLab. Choosing the right IDE to work with is an important decision to make for a developer. Developers don't spend all their time just coding. They also work with other stakeholders like product owner, team lead, QA, and business analysts. They also need to work with deployment experts for CI/CD pipelines and platform teams for deployments and releases. QA stands for quality assurance. QA teams test the product manually or with automation tools. They make test plans, manage time and resources, and work with developers to catch problems early. There are 2 types of testing, manual and automation. In manual testing, test cases are executed manually by a human without using any tools or scripts. It is best for exploratory testing, usability testing, ad hoc testing. In automation testing, test cases are executed using scripts, tools, or frameworks like Selenium, Cypress, Playwright. It is best for regression testing, performance testing, load testing, and tests that need to be repeated often. An important activity for QA is to create comprehensive test plans covering all possible business use cases which are normally reviewed by the product owner. This is highly crucial for a good software quality and to identify defects before releasing. QA also helps with early testing and supports frequent software releases. This helps catch bugs quickly and makes sure users get quality software. In an agile project, before releasing an increment, QA needs to ensure that the product is not broken and it passes all regression and functional tests. As mentioned previously, QA testing is included in the build and release pipelines. Business analysts talk to stakeholders, gather requirements, and make sure everyone is on the same page. They help developers and testers understand what the business needs. BA collaborate with stakeholder through interviews or workshops and document the requirements into clear and concise format. They create business requirement documents, functional requirement document, process flows, and wireframe. They act as a liaison between the stakeholders and the development team. They also manage expectations, solve confusion, and keep everyone updated about progress. This keeps the project moving in the right direction. Often, the BA are responsible for translating requirements into user stories on tools like Jira and Asana. Business analysts help check if the final product meets the requirements and help during user testing to make sure everything works well. They use tools like Requirement Traceability Matrix to check if all requirements are met. They also support in user acceptance testing before releasing the product. DevOps teams connect developers and operations. They automate the process of building, testing, and deploying software to make everything faster and smoother. A DevOps engineer is responsible for implementing automation of build and release pipeline through knowledge of tools like Jenkins, GitHub Actions, SonarQube, Docker, and Kubernetes. They make sure that the development team follows the principles of continuous integration and delivery in an efficient manner. They also support the QA team in integration regression testing within the build pipeline. SRE is like DevOps but with more focus on reliability. They use software skills to keep systems running well, reduce downtime, and help new features go live quickly. A critical part of SRE is monitoring, using tools like Grafana, ElkStack, and New Relic. Both DevOps and SRE engineers are expected to have knowledge of at least one cloud service, AWS, GCP, or Azure. DevOps and SRE teams work closely with developers and testers. They add monitoring tools, automate tasks, and help deliver updates that are stable and fast. So to sum it up, each role in IT has a special purpose. Whether you're building, testing, supporting, or managing systems, teamwork makes it all work. I hope you now have a better idea of where you might fit in the IT world.